What's up, everybody? Welcome to SR Lounge. We're here to help you be a better photographer. And today is part 3 of our interview with the lovely and talented Caroline Tran. So, thank you, Caroline, for taking all the time to do this and to offer such amazing advice. If you guys haven't seen the past 2 videos, or if you're watching this first, you should check out the other videos. I don't know when we're releasing all these things. Just know that there are 3 videos in this series, and you can find them all by clicking in the article, which will take you over to the website, and it'll show you all the links. And you can also see more of Caroline's work. You can check out her website. You can also join her little workshops group. She has a little email list that everybody can join up and learn more, because she's fantastic and she has amazing things to share.
Thanks so much.
Of course. So today, well, in this part, I keep saying today. So today, it's the same day. In this episode, we are now talking about shooting film. And specifically, why shoot film right now in basically a digital age? And I kind of answered part of my question by asking that question. But I'm going to let you answer it.
I did, when I first learned, I actually learned on film back in college.
Really? I didn't know this.
Well, I was a physics major, so that's not, I didn't learn it as part of my major. I actually hated physics by the end of, and by upper division, I hated it, and I just needed like something to balance my GPA, but also balance my sanity, and so I picked up art classes.
Wait, but you finished in physics?
I did, because I wanted to switch majors, but I realized I would be like a 7th year senior if I did. And so I took a year off, my 3rd year. I took it off to explore. I tried computer science, psychology, and then in the end, I went back to the physics office. It's like, all right, I have to finish this.
Yeah.
Like, let's come up with a plan. I'll stay a 5th year. How can we finish this? So I basically did 1 physics class per semester, or quarter, and then art classes.
Art classes to fill the gaps.
Yeah, so that's where I learned how to use Photoshop, photography. I did it just because it was fun.
Yeah.
And what cracks me up thinking back now is at the end of my senior year, my photography instructor was like, oh, so what are you going to do next year? You're graduating. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, I'm actually going to start a grad program at UCLA for teaching. He's like, oh, that's really great. You know, I actually teach extension courses there. Uh-huh. You should completely come and audit them. He's like, I won't charge you. I can control who can come in. And I just see so much potential in you that I rarely see in someone who, you know, first time taking a course with me. So you should totally come. And I looked at him, I laughed. I said, I'm going to be a grad student. I don't have time for hobbies.
Little did she know.
And so, but anyway, so that's how I first learned film photography, processing my own stuff. And then I didn't touch a camera since. I finished grad school, started teaching, and then I got married. And when I got married, that's when I discovered the whole world of wedding.
And you were teaching physics? Mm-hmm. Something that you hated.
Yeah.
You made it all the way through.
I love the easy physics. Okay. I love the high school physics. I love like on the macro scale, like crashing cars. And
crashing cars. Yes. Who doesn't love crashing cars? Let's be honest.
Slinkies. Like I loved all that. I hate it when it got to like the quantum level. Like then it was too abstract and I just didn't get it.
Interesting. So you taught, and then planning the wedding, you realized, I'm spending a lot of money. I need to make some of that back from other people that are spending a lot of money.
It wasn't even that. I just spent a lot of time planning the wedding. And back when I got married in 2006, the knot forum was where everyone was. Uh-huh. And so me and the other brides I just love the whole wedding world. And after I got married, I just wanted to like have a side job. I just wanted a side business in the wedding industry. Yeah. I didn't know what it was. I tried doing bridesmaids dresses, like sewing and designing bridesmaids dresses.
Interesting.
But then I have no experience in manufacturing, so I was a one-man show. And I realized this is not a sustainable
Making dresses.
At night, when I come home from teaching, I'm sitting there sewing. I'm like, all right, this is not sustainable. And then, but in that, I realized that, like, well, another tangent is I actually started collecting dolls. And I was sewing clothes for the dolls. Because I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, that's totally normal. Wait, dolls, and you're sewing clothes for your dolls?
No, but these things would go on eBay for like $400 or $500.
What?
Yeah, the clothes, like.
That's it. I'm becoming a doll manufacturer. I'm gonna make dolls. Sorry, guys.
But when I was doing that, there were definitely some designers who were able to get like $700 for a little outfit for a doll. It's like this big, right? Like the clothes.
This is the weirdest economy I've ever heard of. There's like,
It's like a subculture. Like,
do you have to become like a brand in dolls to be able to sell them for that price, or
no,
what?
well, so that's what fascinated me. I started looking. I was really into this as a hobby, so I noticed that some people were able to get $700 for their designs, and some people were getting $10.
Okay.
And so I asked myself, like, why is that? Like, why are some people able to charge so much more than other people? So I started analyzing it, and what I realized was that what it came down to was like good photography made a huge difference. Branding made a huge difference. So some people are willing to pay more because it was by this specific designer.
Yeah.
And they're all indie designers, like working out of their home, sewing it all themselves. So I was practicing. I was trying to get better photos of my products because I was trying to get a better price for my products. So that's how I got into photography.
That is the best intro to photography story I think I've ever heard in my entire life. It almost makes me want to stop talking about film and just talk about dolls for the rest of this episode. Okay, so you got your crack at it, basically. You started out in film, and I would imagine that starting out in film probably gave you much different shooting style than those that start out digital, because I find that those that start out digital are more like take a million shots and then find one that works, versus those that start out film are the more like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay, perfect, okay, good.
But even when I'm on a digital camera, I find myself guilty of being shutter happy.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's the camera's fault.
Yes.
I understand perfectly. Okay, so then it goes back to, well, in this digital age, like why shoot film?
So now that I figured out how to use a digital camera, I started I just couldn't post-process it to get it the way I like it.
So you're getting a better look out of film
yeah.
than you were on the digital side.
Right. I just couldn't get like the colors exactly the way I like it, especially the highlights. I find there's big differences in the highlights.
Yeah.
And so then once I started shooting film, I kind of incorporated in a little, like 1 roll or 2 roll per session. Mm-hmm. And in the end, I was like, I like film so much better. And I'm spending so much time trying to get my digital stuff to look like film. Mm-hmm. Why don't I just shoot film?
I see. Makes a lot of sense.
That was a long story to get to that one point.
I know, that was like literally, the answer was like 10 seconds long, but it took us a while. That's all right. These guys have watched me talk before, and they know how my tangents work. Tangents are what make things good, guys. Just so you know. Okay, so the look. I mean, for what I'm getting from it is the look. Mm-hmm. And you're very right, because the look is very difficult to replicate, period. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but it's still difficult to replicate. So, okay, what is another reason?
The next thing I would say is, going out of order, but is I feel that shooting film is a certain experience for me, though. Mm-hmm. Like not being able to see, like on the note of being shutter happy.
Yeah.
Like I find that when I'm shooting digital, like I chimp, like because it's there. It's just that instant gratification. Yeah, and it's and I notice like I'll take, for some reason, like I do too, just in case.
Just a safety shot.
Yeah, like, and my fingers, for some reason, when I'm on digital, it just by habit does that. Whereas on film, like it really makes me think through each shot, because each shot costs money.
No, totally.
And I shoot medium format, and I have 16 exposures 16 frames per roll of film.
It's like $1 an exposure.
Right. So I really
Is
have
that what
to,
you're thinking? You're like, $1.
No, it's actually more than that.
$4.
So like each shot, I really have to think through, because 1, the cost, but 2, the time. Because the faster I burn through this roll of film, then I'm gonna have to roll a new film, and that just wastes time. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm shooting film, it just really forces me to make sure everything is right in the composition.
Yeah.
Like everything within frame is how it's supposed to be. Move things if it's not supposed to be. Like it just makes me nitpick.
Well, I would imagine too, like you mentioned from the photographer side, but I don't shoot film, but I would think that from the client side, there would be something special in that experience too. Like it's different, right? Like
Right.
we talked about, one of your things was differentiating, and that was one of the videos that we talked about. Be sure to check that out too. But in that video, one of the things is defining your look, your style, and everything that you brought up. And I would think that shooting film in a digital age is a pretty good way to differentiate.
It is. I feel like it allows me to give them a different experience because film forces me to slow down.
Yeah.
I can't click as fast, and in between rolls, I have to sit there and roll my film. For weddings, I bring on an assistant to make it faster, but like a portrait session, especially like a family session, I enjoy sitting there being able to chat with them. And it also gives me time to clear my mind and think, okay, what are the next set of things I'm going to make them do, right? It's like a recharging opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I pre-plan, do my next 16 shots with them, and then while I'm rolling my film, we're having a conversation. And perhaps that is inspiring what I do next with them.
Well, and one thing you mentioned too is that for a typical portrait session, you shoot how many rolls?
Like 6.
6 of 16 medium format images. So that's less than 100 photos basically. So and so not only are you probably keeping almost every single one of those because they're expensive, but that's so much less than I would think a digital shooter. If you were to take a couple out for 3 hours, you're going to be getting 400 or 500 images. And one of the things that I always tell any student of photography is slow down.
Right.
Because I feel like if you just did that one thing, if you just slow down and stop taking so many pictures and start taking better pictures,
Right.
you'd be doing a lot better.
And like what I tell my second shooters is like, taking 10 of the same crappy situation doesn't make it any better. Because sometimes like I'll see people do that where it's nothing has changed, but the shutter keeps
They
going.
just keep firing. Maybe
And, like,
magic will
Right.
appear on this last one.
So like when I have like assistants who do that, I'll stop them and ask them like, why did you keep firing? Was
Yeah.
it because you weren't satisfied the first time?
Yeah.
If you weren't satisfied, you didn't change anything about it when you kept clicking.
That's awesome. I love that question. I'm going to use that question. People. Okay, fantastic. So if there was a third reason why you shoot film, what would it be?
I would say the time saving factor of it. It's what motivated me to, I mean, obviously like shooting film does have a lot more cost up front, like buying the film, sending it to a lab for developing and scanning, all that costs money, but the time saving factor, because like I said, I was having a difficult time getting my digital stuff to look like film anyway. So I was spending so much time sitting there, and while I was pregnant, I was like, I can't devote this kind of time behind a computer because I fall asleep behind it. So who can do this for me, So
But when you fall asleep behind the computer, how do you fall asleep? Head down the keyboard?
Yep, right on the keyboard.
You do?
Yeah.
Right on the keyboard. So it's like premeditated falling asleep.
Yeah, but I don't know if this is just me or anyone else, but when I fall asleep like this, I realize my arm falls asleep.
Oh, that happens to me too. 'Cause,
Oh,
like
okay.
anytime like that's
All
totally
right, because
happens
it's
to me.
elevated.
But like I
So
can't.
now it's like this.
Yeah, I have to. My head has to be at rest when I'm sleeping. But like my partner Justin, he can do this where he'll just be like, he'll literally be completely flexed, like sitting up, and he'll just pass out. And I'm like, dude, are you sleeping? And he's like, huh? What? And it's like the creepiest thing ever because I actually have to have my head anyway. Side tangent. Okay, so by saving time, you're essentially saying the post processing time, getting it into a lab's hands, and you use Richards
Right.
for your processing, and they're fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
and I get my work back, and it's exactly how I like it.
Yeah.
I don't have to touch a thing about it.
that is kind of fantastic, actually. That would be. I'm gonna switch to film.
And the nice thing is like, and I found that when I shoot digital, like I get, and if I have to go cull through it, I get overwhelmed by the quantity,
Yeah.
and I have to see it pre-editing, and it's a little discouraging.
It's a little
Like when the white balance is slightly off, it's like, that's what I took.
That's really funny. I never heard that.
So it's nice to be able to get it back, and it's like done, and it looks pretty.
I'm awesome.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say. Fantastic. Well, I like that. Okay, so the look, post-processing, and the experience. I think those are 3 really good reasons. And I think above all for me, like one of the things that makes me want to shoot film is the differentiating factor, the experience that you can offer, even if it's just some shots that are film, sometimes that you're taking more time and slowing things down, you're getting that kind of feel. I think that is a lot for
Yeah.
both the photographer and for the client, I think.
And for the experience part of it, like, you either get a response of, is that film?
Yeah.
And it suddenly, like, breaks the ice,
Yeah.
right? If it's kids, what's that?
Yeah.
And I love the idea of thinking that this may be this child's only time in his lifetime where he's going to be, or she, exposed to
For
film,
sure. Yeah.
right? Because they're not going to see this anywhere else, most
Yeah.
likely.
That's fantastic. Well, I super appreciate the time that you've taken and hung out with us here. And for those of you out there, again, be sure to check out the actual article. You can learn more about Caroline. You can see her website, her work, her blog. Sign up for her newsletter where you can learn about her workshops and everything like that. And hopefully, we'll be doing a full workshop with Caroline as well. It will be filming and creating. We'll see. If you guys like the idea, let us know and we'll chat about it. Who knows? Thank you so much for being here, Caroline.
Thanks
we
for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I enjoyed my time here, and I love all the chatting we did.
I know.
All
Both on and off camera.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. The off-camera stuff.
The off camera. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Very few Persians can grow that kind of like handlebar mustache and not look like child molesters. And I was one of the few that could not.
Did you
Or
get
one
that
of the
on
many could
camera?
not. Crap! He always hits the record button at the worst times. Yeah, times when I say like, grab the stick, and I say grab the dick. I was like, crap.
Oh my god.
There's many of those moments. Many, Caroline.